Hi and welcome to A&M Hobby Farms. I am Melissa. Part of the A&M is Aaron and Melissa. My husband is Aaron. So I've been sitting in my vehicle for a minute now. I'm sitting in this waiting line. It's forever. And I've been watching some other videos and on Instagram and things like that. And wanted to go over a few things. Now, this is not what I typically go over and things that I usually do, but you guys can all see from the prices of my grocery hauls how everything has been going up and up and up, and inflation is completely out of control. So I've mentioned in a few of my grocery hauls that we own animals, like we own pigs and cows. We raise them, and we raise them for meat and for our family. Every once in a while we will sell. We mostly sell pigs by the half or by the whole, things like that. And lately we had gotten into selling beef, like burger by the pound, a few steaks, things like that. Not huge amount, just to family and friends, nothing we advertise. We are not in the market to be doing that. I'm not in the market to even start doing that. So that's not something that I'm going to advertise or be selling. I'm just giving you some background here. So our feed bill has gone up. We buy by the ton. Every 2 weeks we buy a ton of feed. We buy a ton for the hogs, we buy a ton for the cows. And a ton will last about a month. For the small amount of cows that we have 2 beef cows that we are currently raising, or 2 beef steers that we are currently raising for fair. And they will be gone in the 3rd week of July. And then we have 1 cow, and then we have a steer, and I have a heifer. And now recently we've just had our bull calf born, which will be raised for meat. So in total, we have 6. Only 5 of them are on feed. Well, 4 of them are on feed. Our cow that just had the calf, she does not get grain. She's on hay and grass. She's, grass fed, whatever. We're not doing the grass fed organic. It's not something we do. It's just our milk cow does not get grain. Until she has the calf, which she just had the calf. So now she will get like a coffee can, like the old, coffee can full of grain. She'll get that every night, just to kind of help her gain some of her weight back. Sorry, this is moving around a lot, so I'm just gonna put it over here. I'm not driving anywhere. I'm just sitting in this lane and people are driving by me. Anyway, so we are noticing prices going up, and they started going up. Like we buy from one of our local Amish mills, and he was like, oh, the price has gone up, it'll probably be like an extra $20, and it's gone up. It's going to be a little bit extra this month. The price of corn, like he's honest with us, and he tells us, hey, the price went up like this, so we're going to have to do this. So it's gone up $200 a ton. Anyway, so yeah, $200 for a ton of feed. It's gone up. Whether it's cow's feed or whether it's the hog feed, and we have it, he mills it for us and mixes in the oats and the this and the that. We give him our feed ration that we want, and then he mixes it for us, and he tells us, like, hey, this has gone up. And sometimes, we'll adjust accordingly. So, say if oats went up crazy, we would lower our oats. If corn goes up crazy, we can't really just keep lowering our corn rations and add in the other stuff. We do try to adjust according to what prices are, and he does work with us, but at the same time, we're raising fair animals, and these animals need to be able to get a certain weight by fair time. So our steers, our 4-H steers, have to be 1,000 pounds by fair in order to weigh in. Now our hogs are a little bit easier because they have, between 230 to 280. They have to be within a certain weight. And I don't know if those are the exact numbers, but they're within that range somewhere. And so if they're underweight, the kids' animals get sent home. So we cannot afford to skip some feedings, because if our kids' animals don't make weight, they do not get to bring them to fair. They don't get to show them. They don't get to sell them. And so the prices of feed are completely out of control, but price of everything else is out of control too. And we got contacted by a person who worked at a brewery in the wintertime, and they're spent, oh goodness, I can't remember what it's called. Anyways, the stuff that they brew for beer, oats, wheat, I don't know, whatever kind of beer they're brewing. So the breweries have all of this fermented feed essentially. So they cook the grains down, and then they make the beer out of it, and then they end up with trash barrels full of essentially fermented feed that they have cooked what they needed to get theirs out of. So while it's not, the nutritional value is not completely there, it is filling for the animals. And so if you live close to a brewery, that is always an option that you could try to do. And I suggest doing it. I mean, you can always ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. So for us, they give it to us. They're like, the trash cans are full. They call us. They say they're out back behind the building. Go pick them up. And we go pick them up, and then we bring them home and we dump them into other containers. Now in the winter, it is really difficult because you're talking wet feed. So it freezes. Like, it freezes solid too. And sometimes you're chucking away at that stuff. And in the summertime, especially in the really heat of the summer, it molds. So, I wouldn't take more than what you need. So if you get a hold of them and they're like, yeah, we've got 5 trash cans, but you're feeding 20 chickens, don't take 5 trash cans. Allow someone else to get some of that and use it, because it's only going to go bad. It's going to sit there. It's going to mold. It's not good for you. It's not good for them. You don't want the smell. You don't want to have to clean up the mess. It's disgusting. We have enough animals that we've never had it mold. And we do not pick up all of the trash cans that they have out. Now, mind you, we could use all the trash cans, but other people around us want it too and can use it to help cut down on their costs. So we only take what is necessary to help cut into our bill, but not take out the full amount of our bill. And then I work in a factory, and I also work for the township, but as a township treasurer, but I work in a factory, and factories are not doing a whole lot of raises for the inflation and things like that. I mean, my husband works in a factory where his raises are non-existent. They are doing a lot of stuff to get new employees in, to get new hires in, things like that. And I am grateful for the factory that I work for, because since COVID, they have done different raises, different incentives. I mean, we had a bunch of, time where, people were not coming to work and they were getting sick and everything else was going on. And I'm pulling forward just a little bit. And everything else was going on. And so if you showed up to work and you had to work 60 hours a week, anything over 50 hours, they were giving you double time for. So if you work 60 hours, you got double time for 10 of those hours. Things like that. Not anything like, hey, we're just going to pay you double time for this. But, you had to put in more than 50 hours, which is a lot of hours. And in the area that I worked, that was a huge thing. Now, lucky for me, I've been out of that area, so I barely work 40 hours now. And I say barely, like I hit my 40 hours, but sometimes it's a struggle to hit the 40 hours because the line that I work on is 7 hours, 45 minutes. So I have to stay over 15 minutes or come in 15 minutes early to get some things, to be able to get things done and to get things going the way that they should. And then also with them doing those kinds of incentives, they've been doing little raises. So I went to third shift. Well, third shift used to be 25 cents more an hour, like your shift premium. Well, now their third shift premium is $1. And their second shift premium is $2. Well, then they were still having problems keeping their employees and getting their employees to stick around and to stay around. And they went up, some employees went up 9%. Some of our employees went up 11%. 11%. Okay, so inflation has gone up well over 10%. A lot of people know this. Everybody knows this. If you don't know this, I don't know what you're doing. But it has gone up crazy amount. And then our factory went up 11%. But with the way that inflation has gone and the way that feeding your animals has gone, that 11% doesn't make up the difference from the way that prices have gone up. It makes it better. I'm not going to lie about that. It does make it better. But we're not talking as much as money as I'm spending on food or on feed bills or just the price of anything nowadays. The price of everything has gone up. So I do appreciate the raise. I do. I'm absolutely 100% appreciate the raise. I'm grateful for it. Everybody who got it is, but while the other factories, so if you're a 2-income household, my husband's factory is not doing that. Maybe they should. It'd be grateful if they did. I'm not gonna say, hey, don't go work for them or come work for here, because obviously what works for him doesn't work for me. He likes the environment that he's in. I like the environment that I'm in most of the time. It's a factory. Who really enjoys it? And then my last thing is I've been seeing the prices of plants. Like, plants are already in Michigan. No one's putting their tomatoes in the ground. And I'm surprised at how many people I see walking out of the stores with tomatoes in their carts. From Tractor Supply, from Lowe's. If you're putting those tomatoes in the ground already, they're going to die. Like, that's just all there is to it. We are in Michigan. Our last frost date is still 3 weeks away. You know, like 3 weeks. They're going to die. Most of them are sitting there dead on the shelves anyways, because they leave them outside. They don't bother to bring them inside. But I seen the price of some of these tomatoes. They had these really big tomato plants and they looked gorgeous for $27. $27 for a big tomato plant. I'm sorry, but no. Do not pay $27, because for as big as that is, for one, when you put it in the ground, it's going to go through a huge shock. Huge. So, like, my rule of thumb for when I buy a plant, like, I do grow my own plants, but I also buy some from nurseries and things like that. And with a tomato plant, from chin to forehead, if it is taller than your chin to your forehead, that plant is probably too big to be putting in your garden. If you go into the greenhouse and they've got this huge, beautiful tomato plant, if you're leaving it in a container, and it's in the container that it's going to be in, like, as a container garden, okay, maybe. Not $27, maybe, but you can buy it a little bit bigger. But those tomato plants are not worth $25. I'm sorry. They're just not. I'm just not going to do it. If you have the $25 to spend on a tomato plant like that, then go ahead. But just know that once you plant that thing into the ground, it's going to go through shock. It's going to be stunted. And your tomato plant that you planted that was smaller than that, half the size of that even, is probably going to get bigger than that plant a lot quicker. Simply because it's not going to shock as fast as the other ones did. And just keep that in mind when you're shopping, if you're new to gardening. I do plan on doing a lot of gardening videos, just because it's something that I've been doing for years and years. We have almost an acre garden. I've been canning most of my kids' life. They're 21, 19, 18, 14, and almost their entire lives they've been around gardening, canning, things like that. They know how to do it. They know what it's about. And then one last thing that I want to add on here is the price of eggs. So the price of eggs has gone way up. And I know that I undercharge, like, for my eggs, because I raise my chickens for me, for my entertainment. My daughter raises them for showing. She raises specialty breeds, things like that, And so we enjoy having our chickens, and we have them as a hobby, not as a, hey, I'm going to make my income off of this. But I've always charged $2 a dozen. Well, then I had gone up to $2.50 a dozen. And I'm going into the stores and I'm looking at these eggs, like, you're just getting the plain white eggs for $3.50, $4, like crazy amounts. Here I am with, farm fresh eggs, all sorts of colors. I've got, blues, browns. I got blues, browns, light browns, dark browns. I've got the spotted ones. I've got green ones. I do get one almost white one, and then we get some cream ones, some pink-ish, but not the pink. I would love to get the pink eggs, but we get like a little pink-ish tint to them, but not as much. But we charge $2.50, and everyone else around me, all the people that are selling farm fresh eggs, are like $3.50. And I'm not trying to undercut them, and I do not advertise eggs for sale. I go into work, I let the people know that I work with, hey, I have some eggs for sale. If you guys want some, I have an abundance. Sometimes if I end up with 10 dozen, I'll give them away. So I'm not out here trying to make money off my eggs. I'm trying to make a difference of my feed bill a little bit, but really, I do not. But we were adding up the price of our feed for our chickens, and the way that feed has gone up and the way that corn has gone up is out of control. We've always mixed in a scratch mix with our layer mixes. And at this point, I'm not even sure it's worth it anymore, because it's completely out of control. And the only way to make money off of selling chickens is if you're going to start selling those eggs for $8, $9 a dozen, because holy cow, which I'm not doing. $3 a dozen. But I cannot believe people are paying $8 or $9 a dozen. For one, if you're going to the grocery store and you're paying $9 or $8 a dozen, I think I saw one for $7. I don't know if $9 is a thing. I think I saw one of them for $7 something. $7 something. I'm gonna take a picture next time. I couldn't believe the prices of it. But yeah, let's just say $7 a dozen. If you're paying $7 a dozen for an egg out of a grocery store, go find a farmer. Go find someone with some backyard chickens, because I'll guarantee you they would love to sell them to you for $7. They would be more than grateful to sell them to you for $7. You walk up to their house and be like, oh, you're only charging $3? Get 2 dozen. Because they are well underpriced, and they are doing it for the love of doing it, not for the income of doing it. If you see a little kid at a farmer's market being like, oh, my mom said I can have chickens, I want to do this, feel free to give them a little bit extra money, because the mom is paying the bill so that kid can have some money that they're not paying that bill for. But that is all. Sorry with my rant. I cannot believe the price of things, and I appreciate your time if you made it this far in the video. And have a good day.